Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have roll call, please?
Mr. Bernier.
Here.
Mr. Brackbill.
Here.
Ms. Cleaton, here. Ms. Dan.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Present.
Ms. McKean.
Here.
Ms. Purnell.
Here.
Ms. Sedgwick is... Okay, thank you. Ms. Tosty Vasey.
I'm here.
Mr. Larson.
Here.
Ms. Eckley.
Here.
And Mayor Johnson is excused.
Great, thank you. Additions to council meeting agenda. Under Act 65 of 2021, if a matter is not on the agenda, council may not take official action on it with the following exceptions. Council can act on matters relating to potential or real emergencies. Council may add a matter of agency business to its agenda through a majority vote. The council must state why the action item is being added to the agenda, and council may vote to add an item to the agenda. Are there any additions? Public comment. Borough Council intends to take public comment related to the motion that is on the floor after it has been duly made and seconded. The order of comment will be in public comment and then council comment, including proposed amendments by council members. If amendments are proposed to the original motion, the public will then only comment on the amendments before the final vote is taken. You must be a Bellefonte resident, nonprofit representative, business owner, or an official representative of another governmental agency. Speakers shall identify themselves by name and street, municipality, if outside the borough of Bellefonte. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Under communications, we have the Clearwater Conservatory Watershed Cleanup Day is Saturday, April the 12th. There is no council action requested. Is it possible to put that on our website, please?
Yes, we can do that.
Great, thank you. Next, yes, I'm sorry, Joanne.
In the packet, they requested that if we knew of any area in our town that needed some assistance, we should send that information to them. I got another one today asking the exact same thing. So could we have just a couple minutes discussion about what we think might be helpful to provide services for the cleanup?
Sure. Do you have suggestions?
I think what we've usually done is along Spring Creek, all the way down to the sewage treatment plant. That always ends up with a lot of trash over the year. That might be another good one to repeat. I don't know if there's any place else in town along the that anyone else can think of, but I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Does anybody else have suggestions for that? Great, thank you, Joanne.
I'm just trying to find the times here that we're doing this. I think it's something like 10 to 2, something like that. I could be wrong. Yeah. Well, we have a meeting Wednesday. I'll try to see if I can't figure out what the times are. I don't want somebody coming too early and not do anything.
Yeah, we'll have that. We can put that on the website. That will be helpful, too.
So you're saying we just need to have the times put on the website once we find out what they are?
Yeah, we got to the April 12th. So.
Okay, moving on. We have an invitation to Center County Solar Tours. Again, no council action is requested. Joanne, did you have anything to comment on that?
No, unfortunately, I won't be able to go to either one of them. But
Okay.
I think it's a good idea if we could have somebody go, because it will give us an idea of what's happening around that issue.
Okay, great, thank you. The Victorian Storefront Overlay Proposal. This is a proposal for new zoning regulations that have been received by council. No council action is scheduled at this time. I did speak to Mr. Daniker, who serves on the Planning Commission, and they are meeting tomorrow evening to have a further discussion on this. Any comments on that? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of council request specific items be removed for a separate action. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion, Brackville.
Thank you, Randy.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Joanne. Do we have any public comment on that? Any discussion from council? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier,
Yes.
Mr. Brackville,
Here.
Ms. Cleaton, yes. Ms. Dan,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. McKean,
Yes.
Ms. Purnell,
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick, and Ms. Tostivasi.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports. The first is Mayor Johnson. He is unable to be here this evening. He did ask me to let the community know that they are free to reach out to him with any problems or concerns due to the recent storm. He hopes that everyone is safe. We also have a proclamation tonight, and Chief Whitmer has agreed to read the proclamation.
Yes, good evening. This is a proclamation in recognition of the 4-H. Whereas is America's largest youth development organization supporting nearly 6 million youth across the country, and whereas 4-H has helped youth in the country to become confident, independent, resilient, and compassionate leaders as they learned by doing, and whereas 4-H in Pennsylvania is delivered by Penn State Cooperative Extension in rural areas, small towns, and cities in all 67 counties of the Commonwealth to more than 77,000 youth ages 5 to 18. And whereas 4-H youth in Pennsylvania are served by a network of staff members and more than 6,000 adult volunteers who engage and mentor youth in learning activities and hands-on projects in topics such as animal science, civic engagement, STEM, and health and wellness. And whereas Pennsylvania 4-H Week showcases the incredible ways that 4-H inspires kids to achieve and highlights the remarkable 4-H youth in Center County who work each day to make a positive impact on those around them. And whereas 4-H Network provides youth with opportunities for leadership development, career exploration, problem solving, friendships, community involvement, passion, and purpose. And now, therefore, be it resolved, Gene Buddy Johnson, Mayor of Borough of Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim March 16th through March 22nd, 2025, as Pennsylvania 4-H Week in Bellefonte Borough, and encourage all our citizens to acknowledge and celebrate 4-H for its valuable service and continued efforts to empower youth with a foundation of success for a lifetime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the police report. Chief Whitmer, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. It was a pretty uneventful month. We're concluding our hiring process. We had our oral interviews at the beginning of March, and hopefully next meeting I'll be coming to you with a recommendation. Does anyone have any questions for me, Joanne?
Yeah, so we had 4 applicants, is that correct? Or were there more, or what?
We had 4 applicants, 2 had dropped out.
So they're down to 2 now?
2.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. The parking report and the Office of Community Affairs reports are in your packet. The Borough Manager's report for February is in there. Did you want to add anything?
Not at this time, but not really about the report, but yeah, obviously we had a storm come through Sunday, and we wanted to pass on that we're going to open Musser Lane, the compost facility, every day this week till 4 p.m., including Saturday. We'd like to have the compost facility open 8 a.m. to 4 on Saturday to help people take brush to the Musser Lane compost facility. Again, Monday through Friday to 4 p.m., and then Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also, if brush is put out at the curb due to the storm, we will try to make the rounds and pick up the brush this week and next week to help residents out cleaning up the brush that might have come down. So I wanted to pass that on tonight, and then, you know, it was quite a major storm. Hopefully, we're very happy that nobody really was seriously injured. There was some property damage, but we did not hear of anybody injured, so we're very thankful for that. Thanks very much.
Ralph?
Yes.
So are you saying that you'll pick up anybody's brush over the next, and not just the people who have the brush containers?
That's correct, yes. We'll pick up anybody's brush, put it out at the curb. We're just doing curbside pickup. This week and next week, we think would take care of it. You know, we can recalculate or relook at that after the second week, but we think 2 weeks should be enough. And then again, Musser Lane Compost Facility will be open till 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday for anybody that wants to take down brush. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Other committees, Mr. Johnson, do you have any comments on either one of yours at all?
Not at this time.
Okay, and Mr. Brackville?
We have a fire meeting coming in this month, either final or the last Thursday of this month.
Okay. Joanne?
Doug, when I read over the Water Authority one, it was mentioned that Benner was pulling out of the Benner Walker Spring Joint Authority, but there wasn't anything in there that said what was going on. Is there any additional information we might be able to have?
I
don't know the answer to that question.
Well,
Okay.
it's really only the water, my understanding, it's only the water side of, the operator side of services to Benner Township from Spring Benner Walker. That entity provided a water service to Benner Township Water Authority, and for whatever reason, they have discontinued that relationship. So that's all we know based on the letter.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we will move on to current and old business. A reminder, your real estate tax bills will look different this year. The borough's partners with Center County government to send out the two county and borough tax bills. In 2024, the county chose a new vendor to provide the tax form. Please watch for mail that has official tax bill on the front. Call 814-355-1501, which is the borough office, with any questions. There is no council action requested. Bellefonte Borough Authority, Spring Creek Cover Project. The authority will be holding a special work session to review all concepts. No decision on a particular concept has been made. The special work session will be held at 6 p.m. Tuesday, March 18th in the Oak Room, 301 North Spring Street. No council action is requested. That is open to the public. Is that correct?
Yes, they won't be taking comment like a normal public meeting, but people can attend the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Request for proposals for grant writing and administration services. Proposals were due March 14th, 2025, and distributed to council for review. I would like to have a motion and a second to have council's Finance and Administration Committee review the RFPs and bring back recommendations to council. Any public comment on that? Comment from council? I guess we need a motion, don't we? Could I have a motion and a second first, please?
I'll make that motion, Clayton.
Thank you.
I will second. Oh, go ahead. then. No, you, I will second the
Oh,
motion.
thank you. Any comments? We'll go ahead and vote then, please.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton, yes. Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. McKean.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick. Yes. Ms. Tosti Vasey. Yes. Thank you.
We have large wooden desks at 301 North Spring Street. Efforts to sell the surplus desks have been unsuccessful. Could we have a motion and a second to approve giving away the desks for free on a first-come, first-served basis? I believe these would need to be hauled by whoever gets them. If the motion is approved, then a notice will be put on the borough's website. So can I have that motion and second, please?
I'll make, okay, I'll
Thank you.
second Brackbill.
Thank you. Any public comment? Comments from council?
Yeah, I do. I want to make sure that the desk we put aside for the fire department stays there, and I would even hope that we could keep a couple extras in case some of them break, and then kind of, you know, look at what we have and what we should keep and what we shouldn't keep. But we can't just give it all away.
I think we should store them in Randy's garage if we're going to do that. But I think we have plenty of extras, honestly. But that's okay. Yeah.
You never know what might happen.
Right.
No.
Do you have certain ones already tagged, Randy?
We had 4 to 5, I think, for the fire department
Okay,
downstairs.
okay.
Are they downstairs?
They're all downstairs.
Okay, so,
So how many desks are we talking about?
I don't have the exact number, but you can look around the room. They're all the ones here. There might be 1 or 2 more, but they're definitely the ones in this room.
I thought when we were all trying to auction off, there were 8. Where are the,
No, there was 8 in this room. There was another 8. We couldn't get in the room. So I think there was about 16. We've got rid of a few of them, but these are what's left.
okay.
will we have pictures of these? Can we do
We have them from being advertised. We can
Okay.
put the pictures
Okay.
back up or whatever. Yes, we have pictures.
that? They're beautiful, heavy, large desks. They would be a great addition to your office. Okay, under new business. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
Give them away
Wait
if we
till
don't vote on them.
Please vote.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton, yes. Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. McKean.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick. Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes, but I still love them.
Thank you.
Me too. We can deliver one, Joanne. Randy. Moving on to new business. Resolutions to PA State Association of Boroughs. Current PSAB legislative policy priority information is included in the council meeting materials. Council may discuss new policies that would be submitted to PSAB in the form of a resolution for their legislative priority process to take place at the annual conference in June. Council may approve resolutions to be submitted to PSAB for consideration in their annual legislative priorities process. Do I have a motion and a second to submit any stated policy resolutions to PSAB?
So moved. Clayton.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Thank you, Shauna. Do we have discussion? Is there anyone that has a resolution they would like to take to PSAB?
Did we have a committee set up for that?
We do not.
Oh, there you go.
And the deadline's April 2nd, so you
Yes.
don't have much time.
Okay, so do we need to vote that there is nothing at this point.
If there's nothing to send to them, why do we need a vote?
I don't know. Because we had the
Well,
motion and the
because
second.
somebody made the motion, so we're just carrying out
Would
the
this
motion.
include the list that PSAB had given?
There is
to
a
us?
list, yes, already.
Yes, there is a list that was in your packet.
Yep.
And a lot of it really does, it pertains to a lot of boroughs, and a lot of it does pertain to ours.
Here's a thought. I know that PSAB every 4 years, if they're going to continue a resolution that's more than 4 years old, it needs to be resubmitted. So my suggestion is to look at the 2020 set of resolutions, look at any of them that we would like to have done, and have the people that we're sending as delegates to the PSA pick and choose and say, we'd like to have this one continued.
Okay, we can do that. What year was that? 2020. And we did not vote on that. I still think we need to vote for that, correct?
As I understood the motion, it was to submit any policy resolutions, and so that's
Right.
the
That would be-
resolutions
Sure.
that would be done as part, so we don't have to make another motion. It's just,
Okay.
that's what we need.
Yep, we just need to vote. Please.
Okay, Mr. Bernier,
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Ms. Clayton, yes. Ms. Dan,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. McKean,
Yes.
Ms. Purnell,
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick. Yes. Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes,
Thank you.
We need a delegate and an alternate for PSAB annual conference voting. Council action is requested. Could we have a motion and a second to appoint Deb Clayton as the delegate and Doug Johnson as the alternate for voting at the PSAB annual conference?
so moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Any public comment? Comments from council? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier,
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Ms. Clayton, yes. Ms. Dan,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. McKean,
Yes.
Ms. Purnell,
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick. Yes. Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes,
Thank you.
We are asked to consider legal review of peddling and soliciting do not disturb ordinance. Could I have a motion and a second to have the borough solicitor review the ordinance and submit any recommendations?
I'll make the motion. Johnson?
Thank you.
So, I'll second.
Thank you. Public comment? Comment from council? Yes.
I have two. I read over the current ordinance. It's, and I talked to Mr. Stewart just before the meeting started. I do agree with him that it does need to be updated, and I did find 2 points that need to be considered. That when it goes to the solicitor, he looks into adding additional language for these 2 items. One of them is there's nothing in there about handled busking. Busking is when musicians go out on the street, put their guitar or whatever they're on the ground, people put money in it. That is a form of peddling. We have a nonprofit that has been doing that as a form of community cultural expansion. And are we going to allow that or not? And if it does, we need to include that an exception in the ordinance. And I don't have any language about that at this point. The other one is that I understand in the past our police have been called on people who are electioneering door to door. This is a protected form of free speech. So I did some research and I handed out a one-pager from the ACLU. And what it says about going door to door for election purposes is that the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts have ruled that laws requiring canvassers to apply for permit before canvassing door to door violates the First Amendment. Secondly, the Third Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that towns cannot require canvassers to provide any notice to police before going door to door. Third, and they must allow canvassing between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., 365 days a year. However, one more. You cannot require canvassers to get a criminal background background check. That's unconstitutional. And if there is anything in our ordinance that says they have to, that it would have to be removed. But however, if a homeowner has placed, or a tenant has placed a do not solicit or do not canvass sign in their lawn or on their front door, you must respect that. If you don't, the public could be charged with, quote, defiant trespass. So there is a little bit of a balancing act. So if people don't want people to come there, they need to post it.
Okay, okay. Will you be able to send a copy of that?
I already gave it to
You
Ralph.
did. Okay, great, thank you.
So with that said, if you have volunteers going to somebody's house, is one thing, but if you have the person who's running, are they still able to go to the door?
Yes,
All right, let's make it clear that that's there.
it's volunteers and the candidates.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other discussion? Thank you, Joanne. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Ms. Brackbill?
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill, sorry. Ms. Clayton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick? Yes. Ms. Tosti Vasey?
Yes,
Thank you.
Next, we have Ralph Stewart's retirement announcement. Can I have a motion and a second to accept his letter, please?
I'd like to make that motion for Ralph, not that we want him to leave. And if we could keep him here as long as we could, we'd be better off. But I'm not happy about it, but I'll support him. That's my motion.
I'll second that sentiment.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Comment from council?
I wanted to thank you, Ralph, for all the help that you've given me specifically over the years, but for all of us, you've been an invaluable resource, and we'll miss you.
Doug?
Yes, Mr. Stewart, this won't be your last meeting, so that even though you've resigned, will you be here for the next meeting? No?
Not officially, but
Oh.
I certainly plan to.
I didn't
stop in.
prepare anything.
That's
for
fine.
I guess my no vote accepting your resignation will be enough to say that I don't want to see you go,
I
but
appreciate that.
it's been a pleasure, Ralph, working with you. You've taught me a lot, and you've taken a lot of time with me,
Thank
so I appreciate that.
Thanks very much.
Shauna just said, yeah, that's because I need all that time to understand.
Any other comments?
I just want to say, I can't believe how fast time has gone. It's just amazing. I will miss everybody. I want to thank the council members, the mayors I've worked with. They've been mentors to me, fellow co-workers, staff members, employees of the borough, residents have coached me and encouraged me through the years. There's so many people have been good to me and helped me be successful. So I want to thank everyone who has reached out to me over the years and helped me along the way. It's been very meaningful. I will never forget that. So I just have a great deal of respect for everybody. This is such a beautiful community, and we just need to remember that and go forward. And the borough's in good hands. I'm sure you're going to have much more success in the future. So thank you very, very much.
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier,
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton, yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Well, yes.
Ms. McKean?
I was going to say I don't want to, but yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick? Ms. Tosti Vasey?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have public comment regarding issues that are not on the agenda. Elliot, please come forward. I love it.
Thank you. My name is Elliot Killian. I reside in Ferguson Township, and I'm a property owner at 111 East High Street here in Bellefonte. Downtown Bellefonte is in a state of decay. Walking around downtown, I've counted 23 spaces that are vacant or non-compliant with a central business district. Storefronts used as warehouses, ghost kitchens, or online retailers. All of these not open to the public and not the intent of the central business district. Trends like work from home, large retailers, and online shopping have permanently changed the needs of our community. Few to no companies need office space downtown. The average American does more than 20% of their shopping online. The top shopping destination for residents and visitors to downtown Bellefonte are Walmart and Smoker Square. And Walmart is not located in the borough. Bellefonte does not need the same amount of commercial space as it did 100 years ago. I was here last year in November, and I suggested several solutions to address this oversupply of commercial space. One of those solutions was to remove the commercial requirement on the first floor of the central business district. The first floor requirement has been debated all over the county. Community members have voiced their support and opposition on the Tor Michael show. The community poll found that the majority of people supported the removal of the first floor commercial requirement. Those that opposed it, I'm going to list a couple reasons why people didn't like their removal of the requirement. So one, they believe that given the option to have residential space in the commercial space converted, that it'll never be converted back or used as commercial space again. Two, that instead of focusing on commercial space, instead we should attract high-income residents to the borough. Three, that tourism can solve their problem. I will now address all of these objections. First, the concern that commercial space will be converted into residential space and never be used as commercial space. The big argument against this is I'm a big fan of the free market. What would happen in a free market if there's too much commercial space? If too much commercial space was converted into residential space, there would be demand, prices would adjust, and to meet this demand, more commercial space would become available. It would be built or converted back from residential space. Two, the suggestion that to address the imbalance, we should focus on raising residential income. In theory, I agree that we should substantially increase the wealth of our residents. Businesses would thrive because of it. However, this is not a feasible solution to address the current problem. To support our current level of retail space, we would need to increase the per capita income from $33,000 to $190,000. The per capita income from $33,000 to $190,000. There is no town in the United States with a per capita income that high. Even Atherton, California, the richest town in the United States, only has a per capita income of $128,000, far below what we would need. This estimate is actually conservative, as I assume that the retail space operation would be $200 per square foot per year. Many high-income areas see rents of $500 per square foot per year, meaning that the required income would be actually higher than $190,000. Three, the argument that tourism could fill the gap. while I strongly support the efforts to grow tourism in this area, let's be realistic about the numbers. Bellefonte has a population of 60,000 people. To support our retail space only through tourism, we would need 30,000 tourists a day. That's more visitors, more daily visitors than the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone National Park. The Grand Canyon has 13,000 visitors per day on average. You would need 2 Grand Canyons to support the current central business district. We are a beautiful town, but we do not have a world-class tourism destination capable of supporting such an influx. Tourism should be part of our strategy, but it cannot be the sole solution to this economic challenge. I would argue there is no reason why not to remove the first floor requirement. 0 reasons. 0 reason not to remove it. I can only see arguments of why keeping the requirement would actually hurt Bellefonte. However, I acknowledge more interested in change. And I also acknowledge that not everyone has the same appetite to change that I do. And I would rather see a solution implemented than no solution at all. The Planning Commission has suggested an overlay zone that might be a good solution. I created a report, which is the Victorian Storefront Overlay, and that was submitted to you. This provides a realistic compromise, and I encourage you to support it.
Mr. Killian, you have 1 more minute,
Sure.
please.
I would not be here if I didn't care about Bellefonte. I want to see Bellefonte succeed and be economically vibrant. Without change, we will continue to decay. If you don't like my ideas, that's completely fine. But you need to create a better solution. There must be action taken to address this economic decline of downtown Bellefonte. Doing nothing means risking Bellefonte itself. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for serving in local government.
Thank you. Council member comments for the good of the order. Rita, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have just recently become aware of an issue with some water pollution in Benner Township, and I don't know how many of you have been following this, but I don't pay much attention to local news, shame on me. But the Walnut Grove Estates in Benner Township has been having some issues with pollution that I believe came from the airport. And I'm wondering if we could maybe have somebody come in and talk to us about how this happened, what kind of things they're doing to help them out. And I'm understanding too from some of the stuff that I've read that the plume of contamination is spreading, and I don't know, I'm kind of wondering which way it's going and whether it has the potential of coming our way, what our borough authority might do to protect our water source from something like that. I don't know if that's something that we can arrange to have somebody that knows about this problem to come in and kind of give us an update on what's going on, because they're our neighbors, and I kind of feel like we should be informed about what's going on as well.
Thank you, Rita.
If you realize where the airport is, it sits on a hill. So you either have the water running toward Buffalo Run or Spring Creek water. That's where it's going to go at one point or another. Just look, the storm we just had could have pushed a lot of rain and just had the wrong water that we want. We don't want the bad water. We want the good water to go to the streams, and the other ones are just that we've been fighting with that now for probably maybe 14 years or so, for as long as they've used the PFAS. So, and we're working on that on the Spring Creek watershed as well.
Doug, is there somebody that could come in and address the question that Rita has, that you're familiar with? The water authority? I don't know.
We can. It's actually, the airport was required to use a PFAS foam to fire train staff for emergencies at the airport. That is no longer the case. That's been discarded as a fire treatment. That runoff, yes, went out from the airport. The use of it was required for training. It wasn't something they chose to do. It was required. To the best of my knowledge at this time, I don't know if you're talking about Walnut Grove area. Yeah, so that's as far as I know that it's spread at this time. I'm not an expert on it by any means. To the best of my knowledge, there is no sign of it or trace of it in our authority testing. Will it get here? I can't answer. I don't know the answer to that question. It's no longer in use. I think we've done some samples around the airport that came up negative, as I recall. That's the best I can tell you. But to answer your question, I think Penn State University would be who would answer that question better than it's not on the authority side of the airport the way it currently exists. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ralph?
Well, it is very complicated. It's something in the groundwater, and of course, you have to figure out legally how it got there, who's responsible, who the responsible parties are. That is being done with DEP, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, and they're working on what's called a consent order with the parties involved, and that is up for review. I think the review comment period has ended. The DEP takes the comments before they finalize the order. But after that's done, I think the communities will see repairs to water systems or extensions of public water lines, those kinds of things as part of this agreement. The settlement is really what it is. But it's very much a legal matter that we don't have the expertise and probably shouldn't be commenting on. Because there's legal issues, and I just want to clarify, when Doug was speaking, he was speaking about the Center County Airport Authority. That's what's been tested that we know of, and we know that our tests are negative. We don't know about the other side of the business, but we know that the Airport Authority side has come up negative. So I wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Did you have anything you would like to add, Ms. Meckley? Okay, that's fine. Joanne.
Yes. First of all, that storm we had yesterday was horrendous. We thought we were going to lose our roof like we did the last time we had a storm like that. We didn't, fortunately, but other people in town did. There were wires down. There was a loss of electricity. School had to shut down today. It was not a good scene. I am so glad that nobody was hurt and that insurance will probably cover most of the damage that happened in town. I'd like to thank our public works people for coming out and doing their due diligence on an emergency basis to make sure that people could get in and out of town in a safe manner. And the other thing is, just as a reminder, at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, the Planning Commission is going to be meeting. They'll be talking about Mr. Killian's recommendation, but I also believe that the Waterfront Development Project is coming to talk about redoing the planning land plan for the Waterfront Development Project.
Great. Thank you, Joanne. Randy?
I want to give kudos out to the Logan and Undine Fire Departments for the activities they got into. A lot sooner than I thought they would, the way that storm was coming. But once you hear the sirens coming in, you know your help is coming if you need it. And it was, when you got out that night looking around, it's hard to tell where you're standing. And I know right behind my house, that wire got pulled off of the house that sits on High Street. And so it was probably a good 100 feet to 120 feet, something like that. and it landed on their garage. And when I walked out yesterday, after things cleared up, I was walking up toward my mother-in-law's house to look at it, and I heard all this zipping and zapping and booming going on. It was the line setting on the ground of that person's house. And today, I don't think they got that shut off at all because the person's still at the house. So, but anyway, for the fire department, kudos. And even the guys who, I don't know who they are, but they're going around with a lot of trucks or carts or trailers or whatever, but they're hauling some things out of there. So it's good to see that they took it seriously and got, started moving things. Because ours, where I was, we had 3 streets shut down.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yes, yesterday afternoon was exciting. I would really like to thank the 911 dispatchers and the Bellefonte Police Department non-emergency number for fielding the number of calls that they got. I understand that there were some glitches with the communication system. Our 911 tower was damaged, which threw everything really out of whack. But I really want to reach out to them for fielding all the phone calls that they had to accommodate very quickly and in a short amount of time. So thank you.
I think the last 3 have pretty much covered mine. All the emergency responders, everybody that helped take care of people and property yesterday, much appreciated.
I'm good, thank you very much.
Doug?
Ralph, it's been a pleasure working with you the 8 years or so I've been on council. I hope you stay in touch. I appreciate your insight to lots of things that go on in town, so don't go too far away. But I wish you the best. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. Kent?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Larson? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, and I just wanted to say I'm very thankful to have worked with Ralph, and I appreciate his excellent service to the borough, and I want to thank him for that for all these years. So I also, that was pretty much it. Thank you.
Oh, Johanna, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I have nothing. Sorry, my audio keeps cutting out.
No, sorry about that. Thank you very much. Okay, we will move on. Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting, please?
So moved.
Second, Brockville.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.